Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ChrisCast. We've got the continuation of the Highlander EU Newbie Cup Season 2, sponsored by STN Trading. Probably wondering why I don't sound German, and I may sound a little bit different to Extra Solo, but it's because I'm a different person. I am CeeJaey, and I'm going to be replacing the two guys who've done a wonderful job in the previous games, had a great time at listening into them, and I'm going to be joined by the Gentlemann's Fedora, who is going to be my co-caster with Wiethoofd on the camera. I'm just going to call you Gent because I'm not.
You can just call me Fedora.
Oh, Fedora, that's cool. Fed, F, F. You looking forward to this game? Have you been watching the previous games today?
Oh yeah, it's been a fantastic run so far in the Newbies Cup between both of these teams. We have a great matchup between Amicitia and Mediocre Mercs, but they call it the Newbies Cup, and we're in our second season of it. But at least from what I've seen from the Mediocre Mercs, they don't look like they are a newbie team. They look fairly experienced. They look completely confident in the way they're charging onto the points, especially with pushing the payload on certain maps. They don't look like they're a newbie team, so it's going to be interesting to see how they face up against Amicitia.
Absolutely. I mean, Amicitia were the team, correct me if I'm wrong, but that got through to the final just by being top of the kind of the round robin stage or the Swiss system. And we've got Mediocre Mercs, which I always say this because this is something I've had a lot of experience in as well. And we've seen it happen over the years that you get this kind of what's called a bubble bracket where the team that finishes top of a group in a season doesn't have to play until the final. Right? Whereas the lower teams, the lower seeded teams in that top area have to play against each other, which you could argue is good because you have to play less games. You can just chill out, have a drink, have a smoke, whatever. But the other teams are there, in my mind, getting more practice. And this is something I actually did a lot of kind of writing about in the past, where you take a look at like Platinum and Premiership games and UGC and ETF2L, you usually see the team that's had that kind of more game time leading up to the final has quite a big effect. So I'm just wondering if Amicitia are going to not be rusty, because I mean they were playing just about an hour ago or so, but whether they won't be as kind of straight into the game as maybe Mediocre Mercs are, as they've just come fresh out of their semi-finals. So they have got a different player. They do not have their demo under some suspicion of alting, so they do have a different player playing in that role. But it is that the rest of the lineup is pretty much the same. Do you have like a favorite? You talking about Mediocre Mercs looking good, but I mean, how much do you rate Amicitia from what you've seen so far today?
I mean, Amicitia has been fantastic, and they have been able to get into this final, rightfully so, just from getting through the early round robin, as you put it, rounds. And sitting out doesn't, you're right, it affects teams in different ways. It doesn't necessarily make them a team that is going to be rusty going into this match, because I'm sure for the last hour, they've been watching these broadcasts. They've been watching to see if they can get any weaknesses from Mediocre Mercs. They're trying to see what they can find and what advantages they could take to getting the points capped here, as well as getting the payload push. They're trying to find different ways to be able to get past the dominance of Mediocre Mercs. But I mean, Amicitia is being led by Retro, who is currently a reigning champion in Europe for the NHBL, and his main class is heavy in this match. His main class that he won in Europe with is coming back to Europe here and is going to be trying to be more dominant in Highlander, and he's been leading pretty well for Amicitia, so we're going to see how they are, though Retro, not the actual leader of the team, it's Metal Cloud, but it's going to be interesting to see how Amicitia plays. But what's even more really fantastic, as I mentioned before, is that Mediocre Mercs look like they're fairly experienced. Yeah, they lost one of their players due to suspicious cheating, but the rest of their team leads them fairly well. I mean, you look at the damage from Mantle in the last match, almost 11,000 in damage. That's going to speak huge numbers going into this final.
I mean, Heavy is one of these classes that I feel back in the day, and I say back in the day a lot, we'll get used to it, but when Heavy was before its nerf, you used to get these really dominant heavies. You used to get people like ALX and Breakfast Jr. who could absolutely dominate on the class. And then there was the nerfs. There was a lot of changes to the way that the playstyle was made around Heavy, and the fact that, you weren't that potentially damaging anymore, and you had to play around the demo, you had to play around the Pyros, especially after the Jungle Inferno update. You see Pyros doing insane things, especially we saw some action earlier on with the Flog being used to great effect on this map as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the heavies stack up. I mean, having two heavies that have been doing pretty well so far is interesting. Usually you see that if a heavy has good tracking and is being healed at the right times by a medic, you can actually play well around them And it actually makes a big difference because it just gives the rest of your team the potential to do damage while you're tanking that damage and just cleaning stuff up at the end of the fight. I mean, even we saw in some top games casted on Crit's Cast last week where heavies come in late on in a fight and could just absolutely devastate a team because, you know, you're 450 HP when you're buffed and you come in when everyone is kind of scattered and weak and you can just clean house. So it'll be interesting to see how Retro and Mantle will come up against each other. First map will, of course, be Lakeside. This is a King of the Hill map, and this is probably not the best playground for heavies. I mean, the first thing you're probably going to do at a mid-fight is walk up there and then get headshot by a sniper. And we've seen these two snipers popping off so far in the tournament. Again, sniper is a class that is so vitally important in Highlander. If you have a good sniper on your team, you play around them, you get the kills, you just get that presence, make the other team scared to peek those sight lines. You're going to be having a good time, especially on a map like Lakeside. How much do you like Lakeside? I mean, you know, what are your feelings toward this map?
Well, I do want to go back to your point about the Phlogistinator. It was especially used in the earlier matches, and I have to give sympathy, just like the rest of the some of the rest of the people who watch Highlander, to the coordinators of these leagues. When the Pyro update came out, they had a huge task on their hands of, okay, what is fair for our league? What is fair for us to do in terms of balancing this? And they've done it pretty well. But the Phlogistinator you at least saw in the earlier matches is really dominant going forward. And you're right about Lakeside with it, with the Phlogistinator being a huge advantage, especially in some of those lanes outside of the point, some of those hallways where you could just come around the corner, do a quick and then straight attack into your opponent's territory. But I mean, Lakeside, it's a great start for this final. I mean, the order of maps we got are Lakeside, Asheville, and then ending with Upward if necessary. But Lakeside, I think, is going to be a great start for both of these teams. I'd have to look back at the film. I don't remember if Mediocre Mercs or Amicitia actually played Lakeside in the earlier rounds of this tournament, but this is going to be a great start regardless of if they have or not, because Lakeside especially is just so many open areas. The snipers are going to come out to play, the heavies especially. Even just looking at some of these warm-ups right now, I know they're not showing it on broadcast, but looking at some of these players fighting each other in the warm-ups is showing how their aim is very accurate and they know exactly what they're going to be doing going into this final.
Yeah, we're readying up now. We have got... oh, no, it's a fake ready up. It's a little bait just to keep us on our toes. We don't want to get too excited. It's going to be happening soon. I'm going to quickly go over the rosters, though. So, starting with Amicitia, who are the top seed coming into the final. Silverhawk is going to be on Scout. Faust on Soldier. Romic on Pyro. Ginger... Oh, sorry, no. Omga is going to be on Demo. Retro on Heavy. Wheat Pig on Engineer. Metal Cloud, the leader of the team, on Medic. Castrol on Sniper, and Durdan on Sniper. Apologies to anyone who is watching this VOD and I've butchered your name. I do apologize. But heading on to the opposite team here, we've got Mediocre Mercs in the blue, and they are going to have Frosty Honey Juicy on Scout, Mr. Raccoon on Soldier, Make Me Happier, or my HUD doesn't see the rest of the name, but I'm just going to call him Happier, on Pyro, Ginger on Demo, Mantle on Heavy, Tubby Butter Seal on Engineer, Pine Trees on Medic, Pineapple Man Ain't Got Something, just going to call him Pineapple for ease. He's going to be on Sniper. And then just Ali. It's a long name, but I'm going to call you Ali on Spy. I mean, any of those names kind of stand out for you so far today as we are going live now?
Well, I mentioned a big name for at least what I've noticed is Retro, but looking on the other side of the team, I mean, Tubby Butterseal has been fairly dominant, and we saw in the earlier match that the Mediocre Mercs faced off against in Upward, where he was taking a little bit of that pressure towards the second point. He was up in the rafter areas where usually soldiers or demos drop down to get the sentries destroyed near Red's first spawn. He's been dominant in trying to get that pressure in and managing to get rid of those sentries, just putting up a dispenser, getting a heavy demo soldier over there to be able to destroy the sentries. So at least Tubby Butterseal, I think he's going to show his head, especially in here. And I mean, Pine Trees as well, you know, he's creeped up in his matches up to about second and sometimes going up to the top person on his team, even as a medic. So that shows that he is not only racking up points and healing his teammates efficiently and evenly as well as quickly, but it also shows that, you know, the potential kills that he's getting or potential saves that he's making for the rest of his team so that they can stay in this match.
Awesome, and it does look like we're going live now. Be interesting to see how the Spies perform. I've been seeing some big performances out of the Spies so far in this tournament. But we are live with our first map. Just to re-clarify, Amicitia in the red, Mediocre Mercs in the blue. This is the first map, King of the Hill Lakeside, best of 3 maps. And both demos getting, Ombre there much earlier and just spreading those stickies around Fedora and just kind of totally taking control of the midpoint already.
Yep, and all of the red and blue people facing off around that first, a huge health kit and Lake trying to get their shots in. Retro again trying to get some more strong aim as Ginger being healed by Pine Trees just a little bit and waiting for that point to get capped up. It's Blue who's going to look like getting the first strike here, and Mr. Raccoon just staying in the corner, the demo missing a huge sticky there. But Pine Trees and Mantle trying to get some good dominance with their heavy medic combo there and a pyro on the side, but good backstab there by the Spy Alley as both of these teams are trying to get the cap, but it looks like Blue may get the first advantage because of Make Me Happier just staying on the point.
Oh, Durdan comes in and gets a nice backstab. He's going to go for the medic now. He actually gets his revolver and cleans Pine Trees up. So great play there by Durdan. I mean, it looked like Amicitia just had the early control of the point, and then they decided to kind of back off and re-push it late on. So they did lose the points, but they've kept their medic alive with 100% in the bank. And they've actually got control now, and they're in really good positions. Castrol gets a nice headshot onto the enemy sniper Pineapple. And yeah, we're going to have to see if Retro and Omga can be dislodged from this nice forward hold here on top of the point.
I think that's one of the shortest times I've seen someone hold this capture point at 18 seconds from all the broadcast watch today. So that just kind of shows the dominance that you're seeing going forward from Pine Trees and the Mediocre Mercs. Because again, they don't look like a newbie team. They're looking like some team that is ready to continue on, not just pass the Newbies Cup, potentially win the final, but looking on to push through maybe to UGC, maybe to ESEA, other TF2 competitive leagues. They're looking like they're experienced, even though they're in the Newbies Cup.
Yeah, and it kind of that shows might be experience watching some games. You see it's so aggressive forward hold here from Amicitia. They're kind of holding on to the balcony, the enemy team's balcony. They've got crits, they pulled out the crits, and it absolutely does nothing. Omga and Metal Cloud going down to the stickies of Ginger. That is the problem with those crits. You need that space because the enemy team knows you've got crits there. They're just going to collapse onto you and clean you up. You are not invulnerable, and you're going to get finished off there. So that does look like Mediocre Mercs are going to recapture the point. They're about 30 seconds behind. Not too bad for them. They do have an uber advantage now. It'll be interesting to see. Metal Cloud does respawn, and he's still on the crits. So deciding to go for the crits here. Conversely, Pine Trees is on the uber, so they are going to have some invincibility. But Ginger there goes down to an arrow from Metal Cloud. The medic getting in on the frags. Mr. Raccoon with a direct hit. He cannot land a shot onto Metal Cloud. Dan's trying to body block him as well. And eventually he goes down. Metal Cloud with the dodges. And Pine Trees goes down. Was that a drop? I don't think it was a drop, but just the random pipes.
Nice
Insane.
backstab from Durdan on the heavy there, Mantle. Fantastic maneuvering to just jump over and jump crouch. That was a fantastic backstab.
Yeah, really big play there. I mean, that's the time when you want your spy to come in, is when there's a chaos going around and you can just come in, just slip in and get a cheeky backstab and then get away again. We see Ginger goes down there to the pipes from Omga, so pretty good, just kind of spam coming out of the demos here. We do see Mediocre Mercs coming in from the far side. They're getting a lot of time and space. Retro is pretty much left alone on the point. Can he be saved? No, he can't, but the crits comes out from Metal Cloud. Omga is going to try and spray them over to the far side. Pine Trees is so very weak, and that last hit, he jumps onto the crit and he dies. They've taken so many players down. They only have 4 alive. And they are going to have the worst respawn. So Mediocre Mercs could actually dry push this if they decide to. Ginger is trying to kind of 1v1 against Omga here, but he doesn't have heals. Has to back up for a health pack there. But at the moment, Amicitia looking strong on this map.
Yeah, Amicitia, just about 60 seconds left for them to take the first round of this best 3 out of 5. As Amicitia just trying to keep some more dominance, but it looks like the Blue Scout Frosty Honeyjuice is staying on the point, and Blue's going to take it back over. 2 minutes left for them to cap. A nice backstab by Dan on the point to try and get another capture here as Make Me Happier is trying to chase him down, do a little bit of spy hunting. Interesting choice by Make Me Happier to have the back burner here on a map like Lakeside instead of the Phlogistonator, as the red and blue are colliding inside of that health kit room. Retro again just using his minigun to his advantage, tearing through them all. Just an interesting Highlander match.
Metal Cloud drops the crits there. I mean, there's not really much you can do. You pop the crits, it's wasted anyway. But it is Retro who, in turn, saves the day. He just comes out of nowhere and guns down a ton of people. He's just going to casually eat a sandwich on the point now while he's capping with Durdan. But that was really interesting. I mean, for a moment there, I thought Mediocre Mercs, they dry pushed it, they recaptured the point, and they had players alive to kind of block it. But then Amicitia just came in and just threw their bodies on the point, and it looked like they were kind of failing at that, because Ginger came in with some huge sticks, but Retro saving the day. Their Silverhawk is being healed up by his medic, trying to win this 1v1 against the Scout, and then Retro, he's on a 5k, gets down so much damage onto this flank here. They have lost Omga, who's, for me, been the player of the round so far. He's just been dishing out a ton of damage, been in the right place at the right time, but no, Mantle and Mr. Raccoon are combining here, and they're going to retake this point. It is going to lead to an overtime situation, though, so that means one more capture from Amicitia means they are going to capture and win this first round. So Mediocre Mercs have their 9 players, they have their full quotient of players up, and they have to hold it for the next 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah, Ginger and Pine Tree is just trying to keep their defense on the cap point. And again, you know how we mentioned with Ginger and how dominant he's been throughout here. And like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, demos are the leaders in damage, at least throughout this entire tournament. They're the ones just getting their quick stickies out.
God, they're starting to drop, but they're just drops.
No.
All over the place. Metal Cloud drops to the Mr. Raccoon, he just bombs him with the Chris, and then Pine Trees, who had an Uber, so crucial for Mediocre Mercs to hold on to this point. He ends up dropping to a headshot, so there is no heals for either team for a short time. Metal Cloud, though, respawning because he has the fastest respawns. Mediocre Mercs are just bleeding players. Look at Silent, look at Omga, he's just walking on the point, no fear whatsoever. Ginger is so weak on top of the point. I don't think people know he is an Omga with the pipe, though, takes him down. They are going to recapture this point. It is not going to be up to the assassin classes to get anywhere near it, and in the end, first round does go to Amicitia. Omga with 33 points and a 7 kill streak, definitely my player of the round so far, and I think he really needs to have more pressure on him from Mediocre Mercs if they're going to get back into this game.
Dang, Amicitia just doesn't look like rustiness has affected them. What I said at the top of the broadcast, it looks like Mediocre Mercs have been scouted throughout that last hour that Amicitia had completely off. They are managing to just weave through them and keep their dominance, as looks like Mantle and Pine Trees going on top of the point, trying to get some more kills in to make the respawn time worse, as the Red Scout going across and manages to stay alive, but make me happier is trying to give him a different story. And here's the first capture being attempted by Blue Team Mediocre Mercs. They're circling around the point, and it is captured. Mantle trying to get some kills here on Retro. Retro trying to pull a hero act inside of that room, but it doesn't look like it's going to help him here, as Honey Juice is trying to go after him, and dead is Retro.
You just saw the amount of aggression that came out of Mediocre Mercs this mid. They just walked straight across the point, took that high ground, but so much pressure on Amicitia to actually do something, and then it was Ali who came in from behind, got the backstab onto Omga. Like I said, he needed to be focused, and that's what they did. Durdan getting a kill there onto Mantle, but it was the Pyro, it was Make Me Happier, who just kind of strolled across the point and just focused down the medic to give him a late respawn. But it has been forced by onto Pine Trees here. Ginger is kind of his only buddy at the moment, so Durdan gonna come in from behind. Can he get something? He does. He gets 2 stabs, takes out the demo and the medic, and Omga is gonna clean up Frosty, Honey, Juicy, and that's gonna be a free point now for Amicitia.
Yeah, it's another change of capture. It's that kind of dominance is how you know that the patches they made to the Dead Ringer with the recent competitive update, that's how you know that the Spy is not obsolete in competitive. With moves like that from Dan, it's fantastic, and part of the reason why Spies are still used in competitive, as Retro stays on the point and Sniper Castro is trying to get a headshot in, and it's going to be a Spy behind him, and Retro backstabbed by Ali, as Red is keeping their cap with 2.5 minutes left to try and take the victory here, trying to take a complete sweep here in Lakeside.
Yeah, the Chris comes in from Metal Cloud onto Omga. He's trying to find somebody to kill, but he seems killed most of the players around him anyway. So he gets a nice pipe there, but the Spy comes in. Ali tries to go, he turns around just in time. Nice pipes. Durdan gets the shank. He's on a 6 kill streak at the moment. So these Spies are really kind of putting pressure on the enemy teams. You see the Snipers not as effective simply because of this pressure from the Spies. We see kind of the exit from the cave now, Pine Trees, but no, the body shot. I gotta eat my words here. Pineapple Man ain't got no chill. He definitely has no chill. Gets a nice body shot onto Metal Cloud. No heals for Amicitia now, and it does look like Mediocre Mercs should be able to recapture this point with only 4 alive for Amicitia.
Yeah, and you look as well at more Metal Cloud, and Amicitia is dominating that room with the major health pack. Blue is trying to get it back right now, but they're unable to because of that mini dispenser and of course the efforts of the demo Omger. Because Blue understands that they need that to be able to get the health back, and especially to make hooks around the side to be able to potentially surround the opposing team Mercs. So it's very interesting how they're keeping the dominance here, but now Ginger being forced out, so now it's just an empty room.
You can look at Omger. This is really smart play because he's staying in with his team. They force the Uber. As long as Metal Cloud gets out here, this should be a really good exchange. And they are going back to that pool room. Like you said, they've been trying to control this. And it is a good position because it's a good vantage point to crits from. And it's a good vantage point to try and block the point. And you see Mediocre Mercs decided to go that far side. The heaviest caught in there, gets taken down. Mantle dying to Omger. Frosty Honey Juicy is trying to make a play onto the Medikit. Metal Cloud is down to about half HP. The Spy is going to come in from behind. Can he get anything? Then he gets the backstab! And Metal Cloud is down. 17-second respawn key for that man. And it does look like Mediocre Mercs could be able to re-push this now. They have the heal advantage. They have the spawn advantage. And it's going to be a while before Metal Cloud's able to regroup with his team and help them out.
Yeah, and Retro, you see him manage to avoid that backstab there from Ali, just escaped and got a sandwich out, but it's not going to matter because Mantle kills him there. But it looks like Blue Team is trying to get the cap all the way back here. They're staying alive, of course, as they're just almost capped there. It looks like Ali alone on Blue, as Make Me Happy are trying to chase after the sniper. Gets a little bit of some flames in there. Silverhawk makes the finish, and Blue Team now has it back with a minute 25.
They actually have, like, they're really smart playing this, actually, Amicitia, because they're not giving up the point for free. They're fighting for it, and they're kind of taking down spawns from the enemy team. We see a big bomb here from Mr. Raccoon. Has 2 rockets. Takes down the engineer, not the biggest frag to trade for. And once again, Amicitia are taking this pool room. They're trying to go in. Omger's pretty weak. Actually dies to that spam pipe from Ginger, but he goes down to the headshot from Kestrel. No spam deny from Mediocre Mercs now, and then Retro is just going to tank those heals, walk forward, so weak, gets finished off by the sniper, and actually Ali's going to come in, gets blasted away. Romic with the air blast, that clutch air blast to keep his teammates alive. Pine Trees is still very close, he's at 50% Uber. He has to be careful he doesn't get caught out here because, you know, there is going to be a crits in play. The crits is used, it's going to be used onto Faust. Oh. One rocket, can he get the one onto the medic? He's taking his time, he finally does it. Brilliant timing, agreed. And Mediocre Mercs, they got their backs to the wall right now.
Yeah, it's only about 10 seconds left for him. I think it's going to be a clean sweep here for Retro and looks like Amicitia. Yep, complete clean sweep. Amicitia takes the first map, and they're heading into Asheville. I mean, just a
it's first to 3 actually. So
first to 3. That's right. It's not. Yeah. It's a 3 out of a literal 3 out of 5. Not best 2 out of 3 on there, so they've got one more round here for Amicitia, but I mean, fantastic performance so far. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a complete sweep.
I agree. I mean, I do think though Mediocre Mercs definitely choked off a lot more time from the map that second round. I think they are learning, and I think they are having some good plays, and I think Amicitia can be punished for their play in the pool room. It's a good position sometimes. You see some early frags coming down from both teams, but it's Mediocre Mercs who've lost 4 already. Big jump in from Faust. Can he get any damage down? No, he has to walk away because the combo from Mediocre Mercs are actually the ones on the point, and Retro goes down. Which you see, Omger is just being focused really hard. He's so weak, 51 HP. Behind the point, tries to get an arrow from his medic, but it's going to be hard for him to really contest here. He's doing his best. He's actually launching the pipes. Tubby Butter Seal is down. Finally, Omger goes down, and Mediocre Mercs capture that point. Their medic is running the Uber. Doesn't really matter because he gets backstabbed. Durdan comes in and takes away those heals. Really needs to be a little bit more spy awareness from both teams because these spies are just running rampant. It is a spy-friendly map, Fedora, but I mean, at some point you got to turn around.
Exactly. I mean, it's literally, especially for the medics, that's part of their responsibility is to completely turn around and protect their heavy. I mean, Mantle was protected on that turn, but the medic just not able to be aware. I want to go back, of course, to Wheat Pig of Amicitia and how he does quick placement of sentry, quick placement of teleporter exit over to the pool room. It's gone now, but seeing that, it kind of gave an upper advantage for Amicitia. They didn't get the point quite, but at least gave them the advantage of any time someone was going for the health packet. They were stuck trying to get past that sentry and get past the defense that was in there. So it's great. It's a great strategy by Wheat Pig to try and keep the dominance in the pool room.
Yeah, they're trying their best to do that, and I like I said, I do think it can be punished. We see Ali here; he's just cloaked in the pool room, so he can give his team information. Once again, Umga taking down Ginger with those pipes, and again, this is what Mediocre Mercs are doing. This is what they should be doing. Taking this far side, they've only got Umga and the medic to contend with, and there you go. Retro's gone down because this is the chaos. They need to come in from this far side, and they can just capture the point and bait out Amicitia from that pool room. They don't need to contest them. They just need to bait them down. But Pine Trees goes down, but then another drop. Ali takes down Metal Cloud. Patience is a virtue, and he finally goes for the big play, takes him down. And I'm not sure who that really benefits. Both medics down. It's just going to be a bit of a DM fight right now, and it seems like Omga has Ginger's number. Well, as I say that, Ali gets the backstab, so this should be Mediocre Mercs able to try push this a little bit.
Yeah, Castrol alone on the point.
Silverhawk! Silverhawk was hiding up top. He's covered in P. He just drops down 2 shots. All it took to take down Pine Trees, and no medic for Mediocre Mercs, and that's really, really punishing.
And there's heavy meta combo of Retro and Pinterest, Retro and Metal Cloud on the point, just trying to keep themselves, even though the meta instantly got killed there. But just trying to keep their stance on the point. That's a strategy that most people don't stick to as much in Highlander, even though they likely should, is just standing on the point. Maybe the engineers should do it, maybe a heavy meta combo. They should just stand on the point and keep anybody from capturing it at any time, so that way you could at least notify your teammates, hey, I'm standing here on the point, there's someone capturing. Then they could go after and help you support to keep the time running down for you to get that point. Especially
if
there's
just another medic pick. Like, Ali is in behind again. He takes down Metal Cloud. Metal Cloud's died about 3 times in the past, I don't know, 45 seconds. He's just constantly getting picked off here. It's not his fault. You know, it's very easy to blame medics, and as a medic main myself, you know, I know there's times where people are like, why are you dying? And it's like, you need that protection. Protect me. And there's so much pressure. You take a look, there we go, Durdan gets the stab, this time onto Pine Tree. So these spies are just popping off, they're just going in, getting these stabs and not being punished for anything. Durdan gets another kill onto Mantil now, so no heavy, no medic. And it's going to be really difficult. You take a look at Amicitia. What they're doing is they're fighting with their lives to defend this point. It doesn't matter if they're dying one by one. They're just really scattering it. And Mr. Raccoon jumps in, gets a nice kill, but Omga is going to continue to fight this point as long as he can. And then they get the better respawns, and they can just regroup now with Metal Cloud when he gets up. But you take a look at the medics on the scoreboard. They're both around 4th on the table. The spies are near the top. The demos are doing well. It's just kind of so much pressure onto these medics. They're not getting a chance to stay alive, and it's just really gung-ho from both sides, and I'm loving it.
You got to give credit as well to the spies, Ali and Durdan. You mentioned, you know, sometimes people blame the medics for why are you dying. It's because the spies are so freaking good. Durdan and Ali, all I've seen from them, that's a reason Metal Cloud's being picked off at every single second, is because Ali is being a dominant spy. He's managing to get his cloaks at the right times. He's getting his backstabs, waiting, as you said, patience is a virtue. And that's why Ali is on the top of the scoreboard for his team by 8 points.
Yeah, and he talked about this lakeside. It's such an open map, it's very easy to get behind. But we see an Uber now, and it's going to be used onto Mantil. Pine Tree is just soloing the heavy there. He's going to pick up a couple of kills here. Retro's also gone down to that direct hit, and they're just trying to clean up the players behind, but Silverhawk is there. They need to focus him. He's just bopping around, and he takes down Pine Trees. Can he take down Mantle as well? He's just like, somebody take him down. No, he's just going to keep going. He just keeps going and going, and he's going to help his team capture the point. Can he take down Ginger as well? Now, Ginger's trying to contest the point. He has to. There's only 6 seconds left. He gets taken down by Omga. He's dominating the enemy Demoman. 2 seconds left to go, and in the end, it does look like Amicitia, like you called it, Fedora, it's going to be a clean sweep on Lakeside. Starting to get closer from Mediocre Mercs, but Amicitia just too strong in this map right at the start.
And you're right about the openness of the map. That really worked to Amicitia's advantage. And, you know, Mediocre Mercs, they've been playing for however many hours straight. They've been playing their matches to get here to this final, but it looks like the rest has helped Amicitia especially. Mediocre Mercs is not looking like the dominant team that they've played as thus far. They're not looking like the experienced veterans. They were just completely sloppy in this match, and hopefully they'll be able to force a tiebreaker by winning in Asheville.
Absolutely. I mean, we are heading to Asheville, which is another King of the Hill map. And from what we've seen so far, it's it doesn't make good reading for Mediocre Mercs, in my opinion. I mean, the teams are pretty kind of tactically, they seem pretty equal, but it does look like Mediocre Mercs it took them a long time to work out how to beat that pool hold. That pool hold is something that goes back a long way on Lakeside, and there is a way to counter it, but you just need to do it. Just focus that point. Don't try to take the fight. Don't try and focus the other team. Focus the point. And it just baits those players out. And when they did it, Amicitia actually had to separate their forces. They weren't playing in this one big blob anymore. And it made it very difficult for them to hold on to that point and hold on to the pool room. So that's all it's all about. But different map. It is going to be King of the Hill. And you can just take a look at the logs. We see Omga. I did kind of poke him out there in that first round for being pretty strong and going 38 for 12. Absolutely huge numbers coming out there. 635 damage a minute. He was getting the crits. To be fair, there was quite a few crits coming out, but I don't think 6 crits coming in from the medic, but I don't think there were so many opportunities where he was absolutely wiping with the crits. It was just the consistent damage from him and just that denial of the point, just never giving up the point. You take a look at the other players, the top 4 fraggers in the server were all from Amicitia. You got Retro there, 31 for 15. Another player with a pretty decent KAD there. Durdan, one of the spies, 27 for 19. And Silverhawk at the end there, who made some big plays. He was always kind of fighting. Even if he was on his own, he was just going for the medic. He knew, my team's lost our medic. My team's lost a bunch of players. I need to kind of beeline it for that medic and just get that frag. And he was doing it. So it'd be interesting to see how many medic picks he got. Looking at the logs, actually, Durdan with 5. Silverhawk also with 5. Ali, the opposing spy, getting 3. So, those classes going really, really big for Amicitia. Mantle getting 24 kills is just behind them as Pineapple the Sniper for Mediocre Mercs also doing pretty well, getting over 20 kills. And that's nothing to be sniffed about. 18 minutes and getting over a kill a minute is pretty impressive. But when one of the players on the server is getting over 2 kills a minute, someone needs to shut him down. There needs to be more focus there. And I think Mediocre Mercs need to kind of work that out for the second map.
Yeah, and you especially, if you keep looking a little bit more in depth at the logs, you'll see, as I mentioned, if you have a demo man that's leading you in damage, you're going to be successful, and that's what happened for Amicitia. The Omger just completely dominant by several thousand damage points as a demo man, and what's even more interesting is Retro led the team in caps. Him and Durdan led the caps by several of switching times with capturing the points. So not only that, but second leader in damage for Amicitia was Durdan, the spy. Even though Metal Cloud was getting picked off several times, Durdan was leading him in damage and getting backstabs in there. It's a total of 15 backstabs. He had one more than Ali. Now, that's not to say Ali had a fantastic match. Ali did their part on trying to get more backstabs and especially, getting the Metal Cloud out of there. But in the end, it didn't really help them as much because their demo man wasn't leading them in damage. It was their heavy Mantle trying to lead in damage for the Mediocre Mercs, and that's where they got affected.
Absolutely. There is so much you can read from the logs, but having watched the game as well, we can identify those points where teams need to adjust. And I think when you take a look at the likes of Castrol, he went 11 for 12 sniper for Amicitia, and it could be easy to say, oh well, he didn't play very well. But if your entire team is holding so far forward and killing people before they get to the point, it's very hard to have an influence. You don't really need to do much as a sniper. Where you take a look at Pineapple for Mediocre Mercs, top fragging for his team nearly. Maybe if they just play around him and just play a little bit more slow, get him involved in the game, then if you protect your sniper, they can do quite a lot. You take a look at the other classes, though; it's very very equal across the board. The soldiers, the pyros, the NGs, all having very similar stats. It just seems that there's this huge difference between the demos on that game and basically the top 4 for Amicitia just going absolutely ham. So something needs to be done. You can look at the scout and think, why is he picking off our medic so much? It's not because our medic's alone; it's because he's just running in and getting those frags. So you need to think, okay, maybe have our pyro play closer to us or our heavy play closer to us. Take a look at the demo. Well, we need more pressure on him. We need our pyro to get into his face. We need our spy to start focusing him rather than the sniper. And why is the spy having so much effect? Everyone just be a little bit more aware. Have the NG maybe dedicated just checking around and just being the eyes behind the scenes. So there's a lot of things you can kind of talk to in between maps and just kind of decide how are we going to counter the team that's just beaten us. Whereas Amicitia are going to come into this and say, hey, let's just kind of let's just play like we were. This is another King of the Hill map. And how do you feel about Asheville? Because I know Asheville is a map that's played primarily in NA, whereas in EU we've played a lot of Coal Plant in recent years.
I mean, Asheville is another one of those competitive maps because I've personally played on some scrims with competitive in Asheville, and it's no matter what class you are, you have to be good to be able to have any sort of effect on it. Because whether or not you play sniper on that map or spy or any of them, there's hardly any place for you to pick off people. There's hardly any place for you to easily get kills for people. So Asheville is a fantastic map. It's going to be interesting to see how it is going into the second round, but it's desperate time for the Mediocre Mercs, especially since they're essentially on elimination right now. They have to try and force it to Upward, which Upward they were successful in the semis. They managed to get a complete full sweep. They didn't even let their opponents capture a single point after they had completely gone through and captured all 5. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play here in Asheville.
Absolutely, that's the main game. I mean, we know that is a best of 3 maps. So if Amicitia win here, they will be taking home the prize pool of the keys. And Mediocre Mercs are missing out at the final hurdle after a day of gaming. But all they need to do is win this map, and we will take it to that third and final map. And Upward is a totally different kettle of fish. It's something that is so far stretched away from Lakeside and Asheville that you've got to think that really will mix things up. But Asheville is definitely the focus for both teams at the moment. Their minds are going to be on how do you win this. And I agree, like Lakeside is such an open map that snipers can be picked off quite easily by the spies. The spies have a lot of freedom of movement, but there is tight corners here. There's opportunities for them to get those close backstabs and really cause hassle in that lobby area. We are live now, and we are going to keep with the same colors. Mediocre Mercs in the blue. Amicitia 1 map away from winning this best of 3 tie grand final. They are going to be in the red, and once again both demos getting there kind of equally, deciding to go different ways. Actually no, Ginger is really far behind. It was the Soldier that I saw, and the early frags come down. Pineapple, Frosty and Happy are all down. Tubby Butter Seal is down as well, and Mantle, and this is just absolute destruction here. Omga with the pipes takes down Pine Trees. This could almost be an entire wipe here. Mr. Raccoon and Ali are the only survivors at the moment, and Mr. Raccoon is surely going to die here. Finally some respawns come in, but that was just so dominating. Silverhawk, the only casualty for Amicitia during that mid-fight.
Jeez, that was a complete blood slaughter. That was completely, or with 2 N's, manslaughter. That was completely ridiculous. Just that kind of movement from Metalcloud and Amicitia, just getting some dominance and such. They had the right movement of where they were going to go to try and just get a clean sweep of them. I don't know if that was their intention in their game plan, but regardless, it worked for them, and they've got first advantage on the cap as Retro is trying to get around here. He's low on health. Faust and the Sniper just trying to get some movement here, and nice placement of the mini sentry up on the roof there by Wheat Pig, just trying to keep some high ground advantage for his team. The Spy easily killed there around the corner by Romic. The blue team just having their struggles as the Mediocre Mercs again on elimination, trying to get some capture here, but the issue being they're down in numbers as Ginger's trying to get some launches over. Good idea to get some stickies to blow it up there. Manages to get the sentry, and it's a battle between Wheat Pig and the Scout over here.
Oh, the crit comes in! Omga takes down 2. Demo and Medic both down, and this is really, really smart from Amicitia. They just know exactly what to do. They are going to lose the cap here, but they've just taken down so many players. It's going to be an instant recap surely for them. Faust is going to get taken down there by Mantle, but Retro is just standing on the point. They were having this aggressive hold early on, and that's why Retro was picking up kill after kill. He just wasn't giving up the ground. And once they lost their heavy, it was a nice backstab. Once they lost their heavy, they backed up into the passive hold, back on their side, waited until players got onto the point, and then used the crits. And we see Ali come in from behind, he gets down 1, he takes down Metal Cloud, so that crits isn't going to be able to use this time, and this is where Mediocre Mercs need to take the ground, which is what they're doing, get onto the point. So much spam coming in from Faust, actually picks up 2. That's going to be quite crucial on the respawns, but he picks up another one with the pickaxe. You know, they call it the skill stick for a reason. He's actually causing problems on this balcony, but in the end goes down. But yeah, the recapture coming in here from Mediocre Mercs, and they played that quite well. They got the bed pick, and they realized this is the time to get aggressive.
Yeah, Mediocre Mercs got another capture in there, and it was just a good timing for the backstab and to get all that sentry equipment down from the engineer Wheat Pig. So it's good movement as Tubby Butterseal is trying to get something set up here. as both teams are colliding again in the middle. And here's Metal Cloud with his heavy retro, just getting the capture again to try to get closer to getting at least a 1-round victory, and trying to get even closer to getting the victory here in the EU Newbies Cup final.
Yeah, down there deciding he'd had enough of the knife. He was going to start using his Lestrange and gets a nice kill onto Pine Trees. He's just respawning again now, but Metal Cloud 80% ahead in the Uber Stakes. Of course, still running.
Oh, here comes Ali.
Oh, so close. Just missing the stab set, but once again, Retro with his aggressive hold gets down some kills, and this is the thing. It's interesting that he's doing this alone. If he had a bit more support, his team could full-on forward hold here. But they have a crit. I'm expecting Omega to do something. I'm seeing some movement on the balcony. Once he can see them,
there they go.
I'm sure he's going to want to crits onto them and just pick up a barrel full of kills here. But I think they might try to hit. They go. In comes the crits. The first one. That's right to the feet of Pine Trees, and that is going to be the crucial kill. Frosty Honey Juicy is going to take something out of that by picking up Metal Cloud. So no medic and no demo for Amicitia. They may have to give it the point, but they've got so much time here. They're going to be pretty confident to just kind of re-push this when the time comes.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, especially to see from the other side here. I mean, Mediocre Mercs, anytime they're spawning out, they are just rushing towards the point. It doesn't look like they're clumping together unless it's a medic heavy or medic demo combo. They're not trying to clump together and go as a team to do a full charge, and that may cost them if they can't get this capture.
Yeah, they're just trying to flood onto the point now. They do pick up a few players. Metal Cloud and Romic will go down, but no, Retro and Omega are combining. They're just putting so much damage onto that point.
Mantle's got to step on the point.
Days. They actually finally get onto the point, and they're actually going to get this cap, but at what cost? The respawns come in, which is really crucial actually, because if they'd capped a couple of seconds earlier, they would have denied 4 spawns there. But they've managed to get their players up and their spawns up, so they've got the point. They need to hold it for just under 2 minutes now with equal Ubers. And of course, Metal Cloud is still running that crit, so he's going to get it slightly ahead of Pine Trees, and those Pine Trees is going to build really, really fast here. But with the aggression coming out of Omga and Retro,
Ali.
I just think it's just so important. Oh, and actually, Omga's gone down there.
Yeah, the Ali was trying to get some backstabs with a sentry nest there, but just didn't manage to time it right on the medic, and Metal Cloud staying alive instead of getting picked off this round. Wiethoofd has managed to get his sentry stuff set up, but Blue Team Mantle and the medic combo are trying to get some more pressure going forward as they're stuck on the point. But here's Romic around the other side. Retro trying to get some kills in, and he does get one on Make Me Happier as he goes around. There's no way he's going to be able to survive against that heavy medic combo on his own, which ends up he doesn't survive there. As we've got about a minute left in this first round. First of the second round.
Oh my god,
as Mantle and Pine Trees with the Uber go around and managing to push down that nest. About 50 seconds left. They're trying to keep their defense up, but it looks like the crits is going to be blown off. Metal Cloud and Omga are charging, trying to get some more kills there. But it doesn't look like it's going to help much.
He had nothing loaded. He wasn't able. It's like he's getting crits, but he just had nothing to do. And that's really awkward when you're a demo man and you get crits and you think, I wish I could shoot them if I had my stuff reloaded. But if they capture this point, which they are, they're going to take that first round. And once again, Omga with a huge kill streak, 9 there. But it is Retro and Omga with 33 and 32 points apiece, largely outpointing everyone on the server, including their own medic. I just think there's some really interesting plays from from Retro and Romic, the heavy and the pyro from Amicitia. They're going in underneath the point. There is that tunnel underneath that exits across the other side, and they're kind of going in, surprising the enemy team, getting all that attention, which allows the likes of Omga and his medic to walk across the point. And if you've got all this focus on different parts of the map, it's very, very difficult. And this is damage from Omga early on, takes down Ginger. Retro is already on the point, Big P onto him, but nobody is around. The backstab comes in from Ali, so he's going to take him down. But we have to just see kind of the repush here. Maybe, actually Pine Trees went down, I totally missed that. Fedora, I don't know if you saw what happened, but yeah, just again, obliteration for Mediocre Mercs. I think it was Faust with a huge jump onto the balcony. But yeah, just the mid-fights, Mediocre Mercs just don't seem to be turning out.
I mean, Amicitia, again, they're just using a strategy of quick. Get rid of everybody quick so that their respawn times can be forced to be completely slow. And right now, at least some of them are trying to pressure on the spawners coming in. It looks like Romic is just going to fall back there, but Dardan is trying to get some backstabs in here. Let me see if I can get some view of him killed in the last second. Yeah, as everybody here on Amicitia is just keeping defense on the point for 30 seconds. As here's Mantle trying to get something going with Pine Trees. They're trying to get around the corner here. Not quite able to go over and get something as Wiethoofd sets up his sentry nest here. But again, it's just interesting. You're right. Mediocre Mercs haven't shown up. They haven't shown the dominance that they've had earlier in this tournament. So Again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's another clean sweep in this round by Amicitia.
This could be huge. Omga's respawned and they have 100% crits. Pine Trees has his Uber. He's used his Uber just in time, and that's going to totally deny the crits. Big jump from Mr. Raccoon, and you just see the aggression coming from with that Uber. Double stab for Ali, takes down Retro and Omga, and that is absolute destruction. Mediocre Mercs waking up now, and that was just perfect timing. The fact that they got down the demo and the heavy, there was no demo, no heavy, there was nobody for Metal Cloud to use his crits on. He was waiting for the respawns, waiting, and I was kind of thinking, if Mediocre Mercs walk onto the point and don't realize that, you know, the respawns are going to come in and crits on them, it could lead to a very bad time. But they were prepared, they had their Uber, they popped it just in time, and they've managed to recapture the point now. And as long as they play this smart, they could actually hold on to this point for a long time. They just need to make sure that Pine Trees keeps up in the Uber stakes and doesn't kind of get outspent there with the crits creek that Metal Cloud is using. But they're losing players. They've lost 4 actually, including kind of Pyro and Sniper. That's really good for Denial. They're going to have to back up here, or they risk losing more, and Faust jumps in. Pine Trees, Mantle and Ginger all go down, and that's going to be a free, easy recap for Amicitia.
Jeez, that's Faust all the way. Managed to get up on that roof, fire the rockets, and get rid of his opponents quick. So their respawn time forced to be slower. It's back in possession for Amicitia, just dominating the point. One thing I want to go back to is that Uber that was popped by Pine Trees at the last second on Mantle. The only reason that he could have easily wiped out that sentry nest for him and gone and wiped out the entirety of the Mediocre. Or they could have wiped out the entirety of Amicitia. The problem was he was out of ammo on his minigun. That's why it's important as a heavy. You need to be conscious of how much ammo is in your minigun and be ready for whenever your medic has that Uber prepared.
Absolutely, ammo management is really key for lots of classes, especially things like heavy and soldier that are constantly spamming. So an interesting play from Retro just there. He tried to kind of sneak in behind but didn't quite get the medic. So actually Mediocre Mercs have captured the point. They're not that far, but the big crits comes in. And the Pyro demo have gone down. Mantle is alive. They have an Uber, and this could be really, really big. They're going to use the Uber onto the heavy, and Mantle's going to try and get aggressive. He can't really chase it.
He's got ammo this time.
Yeah, and he's trying to just shoot anything that's close to him, but they need to be careful they don't overextend and just get rushed here. They have held onto the point, though, and this does mean they're going to take the lead again in the time. So Metal Cloud has a huge Uber advantage. He's running that crit. He's at 60% already. But if Mediocre Mercs kite it like they just did, they can counter with the Uber when they get it. So we'll have to see what they do. Ginger decided to take some high ground here. Actually getting some decent spam down on the players underneath it. Mr. Raccoon as well. Romic has gone down to the pipes, but Retro once again just getting so much damage down and control. Mantle is going to try and clean him up, but he's hiding underneath that point, having a cheeky nosh on his sandwich. We'll have to see what happens here as Metal Cloud has 100% crits.
Man, just looking at Retro getting killed down below by Honey, just completely ate his sandwich, didn't even get a single shot on Honey. Another dominant skill from Frosted Honey Juice as Marty's circling around trying to get some shots in, and it's going to be taken back over by Amicitia. Almost and finally taken over, but it's still
a good exchange though. It's a good exchange. I mean, they lost their medic. Pine Trees went down. Which was, you know, obviously not great for them. He kited the crits, but didn't realize that there was also a soldier and a scout right next to him. But in response, Ali managed to get the backstab onto Metal Cloud. So he went down. There's no heals on the forward line right now for Amicitia. That means Metal Cloud, you know, is just kind of building that crits, but far back. And if Mediocre Mercs push now, then they can actually get some decent damage down. Mantle is the guy who's going to try and do that. Picks up one. And there's a few players down for Amicitia right now. Omga is being pressured out. Retro is also there. And this is basically going to be a DM fight as both teams are under 1 minute. Retro is so very weak. Is he going to die? He's at 1 HP. He does die just before the arrow hits him. That's heartbreaking to see. But it does look like Mediocre Mercs have lost more players than Omga. Once again, but Frosty comes in. Meat shots down the medic. Metal Cloud dead. This is Mediocre Mercs' first big chance to get a round in this grand final.
Sheesh, and especially the amount of people that are lost, I think Amicitia is going to take the advantage here and get this cap point. Unless with the meta combo coming out with a demo, they're going to get the point and potentially force this to an overtime. They can stay on the point, but Dardan can't get the backstabs in that he's wanting there. You got one on Make Me Happier, but not enough to save the point for being captured. So we're going to see how the Mediocre Mercs attempt here as a complete sweep, well, almost complete sweep of Metal Cloud into Amicitia.
This is just going to be pure right now. Look at Omga. Oh my days, just walks in, pipes down the demo. Retro is going to follow up. Pine Trees gets obliterated by Omga. This demo is just going absolutely nuts right now. But Mantle coming from behind. Silverhawk needs to finish him up. He does, and people need to get on the point. And Mediocre Mercs are all but dead. There's only 2 alive. They got to double overtime, but in the end, when it was just no Ubers involved, just pure DM, Omga and Retro come in and just destroy the enemy team. And Mediocre Mercs just look shell-shocked there. They just weren't ready. So close. And Mediocre Mercs, over the course of this grand final, have been getting closer and closer to getting around and looking like they're sussing out the enemy team. Could this be the round where they start to kind of, I don't know, build a bit of a comeback?
It looks like it's very difficult for them to try. I mean, with the way they've been playing, they know how to be at least dominant in the beginning. They know how to capture the point, and they know how to defend it just a little bit. But once it gets towards clutch performance, they can't do it. That's how it's been the entirety of this grand final. But that's not the same team that we've seen throughout the beginning rounds of this Newbies Cup. So that's what amazes me. I don't know what happened with the Mediocre Mercs between the semis and the final. I don't know what pep talk failed from their leader, but I could foresee a potential comeback of maybe them getting 1 round here in this match, but I think it's going to be a full sweep by Amicitia.
Yeah, they're looking good for it, as this is actually an ever-continuing mid-fight. The mid-fight isn't over yet. We've had a crits come out, we've had both medics die, we've had Ginger killing himself with the pipes, but it does look like Amicitia is going to get to the capture there. Romic is going to have a very late respawn, so no Pyro. There's a lot of denial out of the question. A lot of pressure on Omga to really deny that repush, and Mantle and Pine Trees could just walk in now and do a lot of pressure. Silverhawk trying to get underneath the point and just pressure anyone else who decides to flank around, but we see Mediocre Mercs getting forward here. Ginger just gets jumped by Faust, who's going to just destroy him with a couple of rockets, and Mediocre Mercs getting stuck in this corner. This is not a place where you want to be. Castrol gets backstabbed, or sorry, killed there by the ambassador of all guns. But at the moment, Amicitia are looking strong, and they have this advantage. You know, have this advantage in the Uber stakes, and have this advantage on the ground. They're just taking this forward hold. It seems very clear that they actually know some strategy on this map. They know positioning. They know where to stand when they've got advantage. They know where to stand when they've lost a few players. You can see now where they've lost a couple of players after doing a forward hold.
Backstab by
and then they just back it off. But they lose Pine Trees. Pine Trees goes down to Omga. The crits comes out, and you know what? You're going to trade a couple of players for that medic kill there. Mediocre Mercs are going to capture the point, but, you know, Amicitia are going to have the advantage pushing forward again.
Yeah, Amicitia, you gotta. They have to try and get this point back quick and just finish it early. Because I mean, the Mediocre Mercs, they're at least fighting for it. They want to get a victory here, obviously, because they're on an elimination round. But in order for Amicitia to just completely win this out and get the clean sweep that they're going for, they've got to get this point quick and fast, because Pine Trees and Mantle are going with their heavy medic combo, trying to get it on Metal Cloud, instant wipeout. Good movement by Retro to try and get that kill on Mantle for that heavy medic combo. And it looks like Amicitia is going to take the point again, as most of the Mediocre Mercs have been completely eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of going in dry at the moment, and they're getting the medic kill, but they're just losing their entire team. And that's the thing with King of the Hill. It's people always talk about it as being deathmatch. You just got to frag and then you win, but you got to frag at the right time as well. And at the moment, Amicitia are fragging the right players at the right time, which allows them to just instantly recapture this point. You can see kind of this pressure coming in from Ginger and Mantle. They have to get on the point now. There's 3 down, including the demo for Amicitia. Mediocre Mercs need to get some pressure on the point. They need to get a bit of a hold going. They have an Uber advantage. They just need to kind of chill and just settle themselves into this round, because it's been a bit chaotic so far.
Yeah, good movement by Mantle to prevent Wiethoofd from getting any form of engineer setup on the left corner there. Retro being forced back with his Medic and Faust to the corner. Looks like more pressure being made there by the Mediocre Mercs, and again, they're fighting for their dear life here in this final of the European Newbies Cup. As here's Mantle again with Pine Trees trying to defend that sentry, that dispenser and mini sentry. Doesn't look like they're going to have as much here. And here goes Romic. Romic's trying to get some pressure, and Retro crits by Metal Cloud, and they sweep him out.
Oh no! As a medic, oh, that's heartbreaking. Pine Trees avoided the crits. He was so weak. He just needed someone to help him out. And then Romic is like strolling forward like a walk in the park. And he sees a medic, 10 HP, all by himself. And of course, he just burns him to the ground. That was really unfortunate there. Mediocre Mercs just need a slightly better position. Just kite that crits and repush with your Uber like you did in the previous rounds. But they weren't able to this time. Amicitia, they're losing a few players here. They've lost 4. They do have the crits advantage. And they do have kind of good positioning on the point. But look at Frosty, he's going to get some pressure onto Metal Cloud. Nobody can hit him. Can he get the medic pick? Metal Cloud is so weak. He's 26 HP. Happier comes in, the Pyro. He's going to get taken down as well. You need to go together and kind of pressure his team. Oh wow, Mr. Raccoon finishes it off. Totally missed that. And Mediocre Mercs may be able to recapture the point here. Retro has something to say about it though. But he's so weak, he has to run away. Actually, oh my days, he's 3 HP.
How did he escape that?
Romic is so weak as well. Oh, he gets finished off by Mantle. But Mediocre Mercs, they've got 10 seconds left on the clock for Amicitia. They need to hold on for 1:30. Otherwise, that is it. They have lost this grand final. Amicitia will become newbie champions. And we'll have to see what happens as we do see the dry push coming in now. Happier comes in. So much pressure. He takes down Metal Cloud. And it's just absolute cleanup. Frosty coming in for some more kills. And that is absolutely insane. That is perfect coordination from Mediocre Mercs there. And they've taken down some really crucial players. Pine Trees still alive with 100% Uber Fedora, and that means they could just Uber on this point and hopefully win the next fight for them.
Yeah, just complete, you're right. You described it perfectly. Perfect coordination, make me happier going in, just getting rid of the push as Mantle is trying to keep it up here, and here comes in Retro. They popped the Uber, I think, a little bit too early there. I understand the risk that they took from Pine Trees there, and they're just trying to sweep out the rest of them. But again, it's areas like that where Pine Tree went to are why I say that it's very difficult to keep any true strategy on this map, because around the corners like that, there are places you can hide, there are places that you can just crouch behind and defend. So it's areas like that are why it's really difficult to defend here. But it's only 20 more seconds here for the Mediocre Mercs to force a 4th round.
Oh, Durdan almost to it, and oh my days, everyone's dead. Amicitia has just been cleaned up. Mr. Raccoon with just
here comes Retro, rockets. But Ali backstabs him.
Mr. Raccoon, I think, kind of just saved that round there, took down the medic and the demo, and Mediocre Mercs should finally Faust. He's got some. No, he cannot, and finally, there is a round on the board for Mediocre Mercs. They are saying, no, we're not buckling down and we're not finishing up. 1 minute 30 seconds they held on there. That's half the time they needed to hold it for the entirety of the round. And they managed to do that. Some big individual plays coming in. I was going to say that pop earlier on there, they had to do it so that Mantle didn't get backstabbed. But if they just had a Pyro or a Demo or a Scout, anybody with them that could have chased, they would have cleaned up. But it didn't matter in the end. Mr. Raccoon, huge bomb, so much damage down onto the enemy team. I don't think they're going to be able to fight this mid with the amount of damage if some ground is being taken here by Mantle and Happier. Happier is just walking into them. Reflect pipe from Romic. Pine Trees goes down. Durdan just cleaning up with a couple of kills there. And what looks so positive for Mediocre Mercs, Amicitia in the end just win yet another mid fight.
Yeah, what I'm looking at right now, if you look at the ping for Metal Cloud and his Amicitia, Wiethoofd's ping spiked up to 177, and that's why he got killed there. So hopefully Wiethoofd his internet issues resolved. Otherwise, it's going to be a very detrimental loss here for Amicitia, and they may drop another round. But it looks like Mediocre Mercs are trying to get the rush out here. Here's Mantle and Pine Trees taking a heavy meta combo here, but Umgur and Metal Cloud, the dominant heavy meta combo, popped crits. Bang, bang! Two players just destroyed as they hold the cap. That slow time respawn is going to be a huge effect for them.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you want with the crits is to get the medic. They didn't, but Faust did. So if your soldier's able to get the medic when you're not able to, and he gets the demo down as well. He's on a 6 kill streak before he gets cleaned up there. The soldier doing a huge job on this map. And it's really interesting to see how the players are playing their roles. They know what they should be doing. We do see a bit of a drive push coming in here from Mantle. Seal is there, and Pine Trees has got the heals onto him now. Silverhawk is lurking behind. Silverhawk takes down the sniper. Can he take down the NG as well? He does. There's a mini sentry that's going to stop him and will clean him up. But, you know, scouts getting in behind and cleaning out players, it's very, very difficult if you're constantly being hassled from behind. Mediocre Mercs should be able to capture the point here. They have a lot of presence on the point. Mental Cloud died earlier on. Kind of missed where that happened. But yeah, Mediocre Mercs with the point and with the Uber advantage now, starting to creep towards getting back into this game.
Surprised I didn't see the spy just walking around there. It's lucky for Pine Trees not to be backstabbed as a heavy meta combo are trying to stay their ground here. Red coming in from that right corner, just trying to form some stuff up. Here comes Retro and Metal Cloud. Better look out as they are trying to come in and push through. It's interesting how they're staying with the Kritzkrieg on for Metal Cloud, that Amicitia is staying with the Kritzkrieg and it's Pine Tree staying with the Uber. It's producing a lot of good competition here, but it's a question of why they choose those specific Uber guns that they want, because it's helped both of them, but it's clearly helped Amicitia a lot more to have a Kritzkrieg than it has for the Mediocre Mercs to have an Uber gun, so I'm surprised they haven't made a Medigun change.
Oh! That was so clutch there. Pine Tree's using the Uber. He's just facing some lasers. Means flash your soldier in. Flash your soldier. Oh no, Raccoon doesn't get flashed in there. Retro will die, but Mantle's going to get cleaned up by the Stickies, and Pine Trees is now alone. He needs someone to connect with him as Faust is lurking underneath. Maybe able to go for a bomb onto the medic here. Pine Trees sees him. He's going to go for the jump, but no, he decides not to go for the medic there. But Silverhawk's in behind. Can he do it? No. Pine Trees is just, he's going to have PTSD tonight. He's just going to be scared everywhere he turns. There's somebody trying to kill him. But, no, more to the point, Mediocre Mercs still have control of the point. They still have it, and they are actually ahead in time. It's 1 minute 30 left for them to go. And Faust is in behind. They have advantage on the Chris for Amicitia. And they are going to walk on the point with this advantage. Just about whether they're going to use it or not. Retro is going to just tank it forward, take down Mantle. But Mediocre Mercs just have to be aware that that crit is now in play.
Yeah, Amicitia taking control of the point with 1:40 left. At least the Mediocre Mercs were able to get that timing advantage.
He gets the bottle kill on the medic. No,
dang.
You never want to see that happen. He just gets the bottle kill, and oh my god, 2 pipes. One of the second pipe takes down the medic, and then Pine Trees is just like, please let me live. No, the bottle comes in, and Pine Trees just needs somebody to hold his hand. Someone needs to protect him a little bit more. But we do see now Amicitia taking the lead in the time, and they have the crits. They are going to use the crits. Omga there trying to fling some stickies over, but there's no one around, and there's nothing worse than having a crits and no one to kill. So Amicitia just have to back off here, knowing that the enemy team now has an Uber advantage. Pine Trees is at 45% of that Uber. Raccoon, oh wow, Mr. Raccoon almost gets it, but some nice pipes from Omga is going to clean that up. And now Mediocre Mercs, they have a good push here, they have a good chance to get something done, but they've got some players to dislodge from the point, and Pine Trees went down to Silverhawk. Combination of players just getting aggressive in behind Fedora, and it's just really difficult for them to clean up.
Yeah, especially with that dominant combo of Retro and Metal Cloud. Both of them, they are just complete heavy meta combo that knows exactly each other's kind of movements. They know where they're going to go. Retro almost has kind of a sixth sense of when a spy is coming around to him. So that's why Retro and Metal Cloud, you know, have been able to lead their team to victory thus far, and they're on the verge of getting a victory here in the grand final. Is a nice headshot by Castrol on Pineapple Man. So he gets another headshot there. Omger keeping the defense. The final seconds wind down, and unless the blue can do it, they can't. It's Amicitia who wins the Newbies Cup.
Wow, I mean, coming into the game, they were obviously the favourites. I mean, having won and being the top seed and just having an automatic place in the final. But like you were saying, Mediocre Mercs had a great performance in the semi-final. There was some hope there they will put up a great contest. And let's be honest, The score doesn't tell the entire story. Amicitia were dominant at times, and on Asheville, they completely dominated the mid-fights and had some really good holds, but Mediocre Mercs had opportunities in both maps to get rounds. They did pick up a round on Asheville. They did have some great holds and some great plays. Mr. Raccoon going huge at times, Mantle having some great combo play, Ali on the Spy also doing pretty well and getting some really crucial picks. So both teams should be proud of what they've done, but Amicitia clearly the stronger team here today. All of the opposition just couldn't really cope with that combo play. Omga and Retro, both of them have got over 100 points on the server right now. I mean, Omga has to be my player of the day from what I've seen of him in this final. He's just been pumping out that damage and just controlling. He's not scared to walk forward and just put that damage out. Even if it's, you're worrying about your life. A lot of people, in these newbie cups think, I can't go in. I'm not full HP. Omga didn't care. You take a look at the logs. Okay. I need to sit down here. Okay. So this
You're
game
not already seated?
I stand up when I cast. I get that hyped. Right, so 26 minutes.
I should join you.
26 minutes, okay. Nearly half the server got over a kill a minute, which is pretty impressive. I mean, that happens on King of the Hill. We do have these games. Retro gets 50 kills, and Omga gets 58. 58 kills in 20. That's, again, both maps. The demo man for Amicitia has got over 2 kills a minute. I mean, he gets 647 DPM, and it's the second time he's got over 600 DPM. I mean, demos do love Koth maps. Demos do love crits, but he's been using it so well. You take a look, he only died 16 times. So it's not as if he's just going balls to the wall and just lobbing stuff in and hoping for the best. He died the third least on the entire server. Only his medic and NG died less than him. And Retro as well. Retro was getting a lot of heals and just kind of playing that combo style, but he was doing it in the right position and at the right time. There were times where he was going around with Romic, his pyro, going in underneath and just kind of flanking and just bringing the attention to him, knowing that the rest of his team could come in and make the plays. Faust was doing a great job. He was the third highest fragger. Getting 400 DPM as a soldier on a Koth map. I mean, soldier is better on this map compared to something like Product or Lakeside, but he did a great job. It's not just his kills and damage, it's the fact that he was jumping in behind and getting stuff done. He got 4 med picks, which was the second highest behind Omga, who got 8. But the fact that Faust was getting onto that enemy balcony, bringing the eyes towards him, that's the thing about Highlander. You want people to look at you so they're not looking at the important people on your team. Important people being those guys who are going to get the kills. Silverhawk as well, I think, did him absolutely amazingly. He was just in the lobby, going underneath, going behind, picking up kills, and just being just an annoyance. You want the scout to be an annoyance for your team. I mean, you got to shout out Mantle and Ali, both getting 30 kills plus. Ali, out fragging Durdan this time and getting, running that ambassador, not something we usually see anymore, but he was getting backstabbed. He was getting good kills and actually keeping his team in the game for a lot of the times. So, I mean, the rest of the classes are all pretty kind of equal across the board. But again, we see these players for Amicitia really kind of being the players of the day and just really helping their team win the fights.
Yeah, if there were any MVP here for the Newbies Cup, it would for sure be Omger, because the amount of damage that he's done, I mean, 58 kills in one match, that's insane. That is completely insane for 26 minutes. The amount of coordination it takes for him to get his stickies over there, his grenade launchers to aim correctly at the right people, and for him leading the damage on his team by 6,000 plus, that's crazy. Not only that, but you could tell that he's especially, focused on coordination on that, because he only had 3 captures that whole game. The ones who were leading the captures were Retro and Castro. The heavy and sniper were leading the captures for his team. So you could tell that Omger wasn't as much focused on the point. That must have been some team side coordination of, okay, Omger, you go and explode everybody with your stickies, handle the stuff, we'll get the point captured. That's fantastic team playing and such, and a very well-deserved cup win. I would have liked to see them do a complete sweep, because they didn't need to drop that round. They didn't need to drop that final round to the Mediocre Mercs, but granted, the Mercs were more interested in trying to force a third round, because I believe if the Mediocre Mercs have been pushed to upward, they may have been able to actually win it back. But showing by their performance of only getting 1 round throughout the entire time in the cup final, it's well deserved for Amicitia to get the win.
Absolutely, and I think it's justified winners here based on the performances we've seen today. But like I said, Mediocre Mercs definitely should be proud of themselves for performing really well. We had some really intense rounds there, and I think some of these players maybe playing these maps for the first time, maybe not having that experience. And especially the team play, but we saw some great coordination from both sides, just really kind of learning as they go along. And that's what these newbie cups are about, just kind of getting these guys together and, just working together and working out that communication, which isn't always there in the start of your Highlander days. I remember my first Highlander team and everyone just used to yell at each other or they didn't say anything at all. So, once you get to that position where you start to calm a bit better, you can see these plays being made. And there were some great plays from both teams today. I mean, one of my favorites had to be Mr. Raccoon coming right in and basically just destroying half the team with his late bombs. So yeah, moments like that are what these cups are for. So congratulations to Amicitia for winning those keys and winning the Newbie Cup. Are there any shout outs you've got, Fedora, before we disappear?
Not specifically, no. I mean, just a great tournament to witness. Great for my first time calling a Highlander match and everything. I mean, other than that, watch the NHBL playoffs the rest of this month. I know Agro's going to kill me for that, but someone prompted me for shout out. So yeah, NHBL playoffs the rest of the month, every Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Nice, and thank you very much for casting. It's been a pleasure. Like some of those of you who've been watching all day have noticed that we've had some newer casters with us over the different games and giving an opportunity not just for newbie players but for newbie casters. So it's been great to have some new faces who could potentially join at the ChrisCast team. So those of you who may be interested in casting for ChrisCast, definitely find out for more information. !casting call in the chat to find out more. Before we just some shout outs to STN, who've been providing the support for this tournament and obviously the prize pool of some of the keys. Of course, we do have more casts coming up for ChrisCast. The next thing will be coming up will be UGC coming up on Monday, which will be another game from the UGC European Highlander scene with a platinum game between two of the top teams. Also, shout out to the Patreon. If you want to support the casters and the people who put the work in behind the scenes, the likes of Wiethoofd, who gets no FaceTime, no voice time. He just does all of the computing work behind the scenes. Those Patreon donations and support do help out everyone who puts in time trying to cast TF2. We also will have an ETF2 award show coming up soon. We will have awarding the winners of individual player titles after Season 15 of ETF2 Premiership Highlander. Go to the ETF2 website to vote on things like Scout of the Season, Player of the Season, and Caster of the Season, and we'll be announcing those live on the show. Of course, there will be a podcast after this on ChrisCast. It will be Agro joined by Kaim Time. Or Kaim Time. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it is formerly Julander, who changed his name recently. So if you want to find out more about that Platinum Spy, you definitely stay tuned on ChrisCast. But thank you for watching. This has been the Newbie Cup, season number 2. This was the grand final with Amicitia winning. Thanks to STN for everything, organizing this, and of course ChrisCast for putting on the show. We'll see you guys next time.